welcome to another episode of the Barcata Podcast. We're here at Fusion Footwear with Stephanie. How's it going?
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm excited to talk.
Yeah. So, well, let's first things first. You just got back from vacation, right?
Yes, on a cruise.
Yeah, how was that?
Beautiful, perfect weather the whole time.
Just a little bit warmer than it was here?
A lot warmer. It was wonderful. Yeah.
Nice. What cruise line did you guys go on?
Royal Caribbean. Would never cruise with anybody else.
Yeah? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Have you gone with anyone else before? Or
Yep. We've traveled a lot with different cruise lines, but Royal Caribbean is our favorite. They do what we do here, unreasonable hospitality. So everything is customer service to the top level, and people really feel like they want you there and they care. So we love it. Cool.
What was the name of the ship?
We went on one of their Royal Caribbean new ships. So we went on the Utopia of the Seas. It's one of their new big ships.
So the ones like you see on like commercials and stuff.
Yes. So we went on
that must have been crazy.
Oh, our daughter, we took her for her 10th birthday. She loved it. We were never a day without 50 flights of stairs and 25,000 steps. So we were busy and doing all the things.
That's awesome. So that's the one that has like the major like water park like on the very top.
Has the huge water park. It has the slide that goes from the 16th floor all the way down. There was a zip line that went across the top level of the ship. And in these ships, they have Central Park. So they have like a mimic of, New York Central Park. And so the zip line goes right over the top of those. The surfing on the ship, the miniature golf, the shows were incredible. Just so much for families to do.
Nice. So you really didn't have to leave the ship if you didn't want to?
You wouldn't have had to, but we actually stopped twice at Royal Caribbean's private island, which is Coco Cay, which is really nice because then when you get off the ship, everything that you would have had on board is off board, so you don't have to pay for food and drinks and whatever. And the beaches, it's in the Bahamas, are pristine, so it's a beautiful time to go snorkeling, and they have a water park on that island too that you can take the kids to. Really nice.
Mm-hmm. Have you been to their private island before?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. I took my oldest daughter on the same cruise when not the same ship, but the same cruise stops when she was 9 as well. So kind of got to do one for this same thing for both girls.
Yeah, that's awesome. When we typically haven't been going on cruises lately, it's been kind of to go see things, but that sounds like a lovely time just to kind of kick it in the islands and stuff. So.
Yeah, it's beautiful. We're actually signed up to go again next January. Okay. We're going to do another one of the Royal Caribbean ships. So yeah, just a nice way to get away for the family in the winter in Wisconsin.
Yeah. So where was the port of call then? Like you flew into where?
Port Canaveral.
Oh, Port Canaveral. Mm-hmm. Okay. And then back there again?
Yeah. Port Canaveral right into Coco Cay, their island. We went to Nassau, Bahamas, and then back to Coco Cay. So it was just a 5-night trip.
Yeah, we were just down in Florida not too long ago in January for just to hang out with Patricia's side of the family and stuff. So
nice. Where were you guys?
We were in Melbourne. So
yeah, which is where we were. That's where the airport was Melbourne. Yep.
Yeah, so not too far away. But unfortunately, when we went, it was during the polar vortex.
Oh, so it was cold down there too.
Yeah, so it wasn't that much warmer there than it was here at the time. Actually, it was quite warmer by like 30 degrees, but that meant it was 30 degrees down in Florida.
Cold.
But luckily, we were further enough south where we missed the snow, and then it warmed up, towards the end and stuff. So we ended up having a little bit of and stuff in the 60s. 60s never felt so good, So. But it's always fun going around there and enjoying food and stuff, and
awesome,
good stuff. Yeah. So how did this all come about for you?
Fusion Footwear, Fusion as a whole is probably a long dragging story of all the different twists and turns, but really it started with Fusion as a nonprofit. So we started PDS Fusion Incorporated back in 2015 leading into 2016. It was right after I had our second daughter, and I was struggling with postpartum depression. And so as part of that, I was really motivated by a national organization called Fellow Flowers. And so that January of 2016, I invited all the women in Oshkosh that I knew to come for a run. Now, we can all laugh about how many people probably showed up for a cold January run if they've never run before. Mm-hmm. But we had about eight women that showed up, and they were kind of the founders of what Fusion really stood for. We started as a female running group in 2016, and we sort of slowly started to evolve into programs that a lot of people know about, which is the Oshkosh Summer Fun Runs. We developed a kids running program, kids summer camps, fitness classes. We've moved and morphed into swimming lessons for kids. We do a lot of collaborative work with Winnebago County and the Oshkosh Rec Department in a program called BAGO. We also have a really neat presentation series called Spark, which really helps young girls with motivation, self-worth, accountability, all of that. We became an official 501c3 in July of 2021. So we kind of flew a little bit under the radar as just kind of a group that organized a lot of different activities in this area.
Yeah.
But we really wanted to become official in 2021. And so we became an official 501c3. We are still really proud that all of the things that we do in our programs are volunteer led, so we don't have any paid staff. All the money that we get from when we volunteer at, herd games or Packer games or Dine and Donates at Culver's or the events that we put on, all of that money goes directly back into the programs that we are able to do in the 920 community. Fusion Footwear then, where did that evolve? As a health and wellness person, I went to college for kinesiology, health promotion. I worked a lot with Runaway Shoes when I worked at Kimberly-Clark Corporation. The owner would actually come into Kimberly-Clark and do presentations for our employees, similar to what we do now for a lot of different companies. And in that relationship, he had, sort of to plant the seed of would I be interested in taking on the store in Oshkosh. He really wanted to focus on keeping his business in the Appleton, Green Bay area. I sort of laughed at first and thought, yeah, right, I'm never going to own a shoe store. That's not in my wheelhouse. But as luck and time would have it, he hit me at the right time in 2022. And we decided to take over the Runaway Shoes in Oshkosh location and slowly start to transform that into Fusion Footwear. We opened the doors at 520 South Kohler, right next to Buffalo Wild Wings, in December 1st of 2022. And so now we sort of outgrew that space really quickly. We realized that we had a lot of potential and a lot of things that we wanted to do yet for our community. And so we were able to secure this beautiful location on Witzel, just a quarter mile down from the old location. So it's really close. But it's much bigger. It's, almost 4 times the size and a lot of capabilities here. But we opened the door here on November 1st of 2023. And so now we're just a few months into this new location, a lot more room, a lot more opportunities for programming, a lot more opportunities for collaboration. Soon to come, Aurora Healthcare will be occupying one of our spaces in the back. We're going to be offering on-site physical therapy for not only our customers, but patients that go to Aurora as well. We're in the process of hiring an on-site massage therapist, so we'll have massage therapy here. And then we have a sports nutritionist that's already on our staff, seeing and meeting with different clients and individuals, as well as personal training in our gym that we have here on site too.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shout out to Ross too.
Yeah. Huge shout out to Ross. Yeah. He really is the one who, kind of planted that seed, and, he's doing great. He's rocking things up in the Appleton, Green Bay area, and he's got a focus on a lot of his running events that he does. Yeah. Some of them, even come down to the Oshkosh area. He's got an event down here in April. So we're so grateful for Ross, and we're so grateful for all the knowledge and, continued knowledge that him and his team share with us to sort of help us grow and evolve Fusion Footwear.
Yeah, I think that's the wonderful thing about, the community that we live in, especially within like the business community, with like the people that we
Absolutely.
know. Like we're all here to support each other, and we want to see each other succeed in any which way possible, so.
Yes.
So that's how you met Ross then? Like,
Yes.
Through like working at the
Yeah, so I was the health and wellness director at Kimberly-Clark. And so at Kimberly-Clark, we would do a ton of different wellness programs for our employees. And because Kimberly-Clark was situated between, Neenah, and we had offices in Appleton, it made sense for us to have Runaway Shoes come and do a lot of the different presentations and shoe fittings and whatnot. And Ross was an excellent partner for Kimberly-Clark. And so we just started our relationship at that point. And when we started the women's running group, Runaway Shoes was our support local go-to spot for all of the women, when they were getting their shoes. And we did a lot of events with Runaway Shoes at the beginning. Ross has been a huge supporter of our kids running program as well. We've done a lot of collaborative races with them. So we really do. We have a lot of gratitude in our heart for Ross, and we wish them well in their business ventures that they're doing just north of us. And we're just going to continue to grow in this area.
Yeah. So what other events have you like taken over in terms of like running here in the area, like races and such?
Yeah, I think the one that's probably the most notable for Oshkosh specifically is that UW Oshkosh for I think over 10 years did the Shamrock Shuffle. That was a great event held at UWO, and then as everything kind of changed with COVID, they decided to not take that race back on. So Fusion has stepped in, and we do our own sort of Shamrock Shuffle where it's a little less of the everybody shows up at the start line, where it's a little more flexible for that weekend. But that's one race that we've taken on. We're collaborating with Community Church in Oshkosh, and we're going to be doing a program called Run for God. And so we're going to be doing a 6-week, Bible-based running program, and we're going to combine that actually with the race day for our kids' running program. So that'll be on May 3rd. We do our Mother's Day run every Mother's Day, so that's been something that we've brought to Oshkosh, and we've continued to do, whether it was through the nonprofit or through FUSION Footwear. That's a great event. We work collaboratively with the Oshkosh Rec Department in Winnebago County Parks, and one event that people really look forward to is the Haunted Hustle 5K, and that's always around Halloween weekend.
Okay.
And we grab a lot of kids, a lot of families that come out and do it. We do it at night in County Park, and so it's dark, and we have people, dressed up in costumes along the way, and it's just a really nice family-friendly event.
That's fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you take over the half also?
No.
Okay.
Ross is continuing to
Okay.
Ross is continuing to do that event. They actually renamed it to Loop the Lake. I think it's now he does the Runaway to the Bay.
Okay.
And then he does Loop the Lake, which is the Oshkosh half, and then it's not a 5K anymore. I think it's a little bit longer. I think it's a nautical 5K, which means it's like 4-point-something miles.
Okay.
But that's the weekend actually before our kids' crew and our Run for God event. So we're kind of in 3 consecutive weekends of opportunities for people to get involved with running.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So how did you get into like the whole like running, like you have passion for running and all that kind of stuff?
I would say that I didn't really have a passion for running, so to speak. I grew up here. I'm from Oshkosh.
Okay.
Went to Oshkosh North, played sports in high school. Running was probably my least favorite sport. I was a swimmer and a basketball player, first and foremost. When I went to college, though, I went to UW Stevens Point, and I fell in love immediately with the sport of triathlon. So I joined the triathlon team and the weightlifting team when I went to Stevens Point, and I was very active in both the triathlon world and the weightlifting world. Running was kind of like that third discipline of the triathlon that I sort of liked. My best friend would always try to get me to go for runs with her, and she can chat and talk and do all that, and I would want to put my headphones on and just focus on when is this going to be over type of a thing. But I think for a lot of women, going through having kids and childbirth and in that whole postpartum experience really changed my perspective on running. And I felt that running after having our first child was my solitude. She was calmed by the motion of being in the stroller. So I found this like serenity, I guess I would say, in being able to have my headphones on, be able to take her for a run and really, get that me time that I was so desperately craving as a new mom. And I think that just sort of transformed my mindset into what running could be, not only for myself, but for other women, as well as what it could really ultimately be for our community. And so, like I mentioned before, going through my second child and going through that and experiencing postpartum, running really was the outlet for me that helped me, kind of come out of that funk and then bring so many other women with a very shared experience into the same fold. And, we've touched so many women's lives, and not just women. We have a lot of men that run with us too. But a lot of women specifically that use running as this outlet for themselves. It's the time that they get every day where it's just about them. And so I feel like running has, from the start, maybe wasn't something that I viewed as a joy, to now I feel blessed that I'm able to do those things.
For sure. So what are some have you done any major races then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been racing for, well, probably, I'm getting old, right? 25 years. We're in 2025. I have done a numerous amount of triathlons. I've done marathons. I think my favorite distance is probably the 10K. I like 6.2 miles. I think those are probably the distance for me. What's on the docket this year is we're doing the walking marathon in Stevens Point in June, and I'm doing that with some girlfriends. So I'm really excited about that. And then my youngest daughter, who's 10, is going to do her first half marathon. Wow. And so we're doing that actually out in Big Bear, California in November.
Nice.
And so I'm excited about those two races. When people ask me, like, what was my favorite race that I've ever done before, I would say my favorite all-time race is the Surf City Marathon in Huntington Beach, California.
Okay.
The vibe of California, the vibe of Huntington Beach is just like this super chill race, and the whole marathon is along PCH, along Pacific Coast Highway. So
that's awesome. Yeah.
The weather's always perfect. It's usually like the first weekend in February. So I've done that one a couple different times. And I don't think anybody that I've done Disney. And so I feel like if you've done Disney, you know that that's always probably going to be in the top two of races because it's just the experience. I don't think anybody really does Disney to have like a great qualifying time.
Right.
You do it for the experience.
Yeah.
So those would be my favorites.
I think my favorite, I've been pretty Wisconsin landlocked in terms of doing races and stuff. We used to do the Oshkosh half marathon quite a bit in our earlier years with the restaurant and stuff.
Yeah.
But with it kind of shifting to Saturdays, it's kind of gotten into our, work team stuff or whatever. But anyways, that's always a fun one to do. And then the one that I really enjoy doing a lot is the Fall 50 up in Door County.
Yes, love that race. Yes, I've done that.
We never gone as far as, dress up like some other people have done. But we've always rocked, our Manila shirts and stuff and ran and have had a good time with the family up there and stuff. So.
Well, and you're a basketball player, right? I mean, so you have the team and you guys are rocking the rec league, right? That's where you guys
we're rolling. We got the playoffs starting tomorrow.
Hey, that's awesome.
We locked in the third seed with an 8-3 record. Yeah. So
be proud of that. That's really cool.
We're the old guys in the league now that surprised those young bucks and stuff. So
got to keep moving.
Yeah.
That's the point, right?
Yeah, for sure. So did you you mentioned basketball. Did you play varsity then at North?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep, I didn't play as a senior. I got really, and I think that probably is something that is pivotal to where I went direction-wise with my life. Mm-hmm. Played sports forever, did all of, basketball camps and, played JV varsity, all of the basketball world. But when I was a senior, I got really into going to the Y, and I started teaching fitness classes. Contact kickboxing was my first class I ever taught at the YMCA. And so I really fell in love with teaching fitness class at the Y. I've actually worked for the Y since I was 16 years old.
Wow, cool.
I've always been working for either the Oshkosh Y, the Green Bay Y, Stevens Point Y, Madison Y, for all of the different places I've ever been to. So the Y has a special place in my heart. Yeah. So I played basketball but then I really got into the Y world. We tried to get our daughters to play basketball because I like basketball. I feel like it's in my veins. Unfortunately, when you marry a Brazilian, it's football. And so they've went that route.
Well, they're in United, right?
Yes.
Yeah. What levels are they at now?
Gabby's our oldest, and Gabby's in high school now. So she is actually going to stop playing United, and she's going to focus just on playing for Oshkosh North. And then my husband, Mauricio, he coaches Mackenzie's team. So she's a U10. Next year, she'll be U11.
Okay. Right on.
And they've been playing since they possibly could, right? Whenever they allow kids to start playing. Yes.
Yeah.
A completely unique experience when you come into Fusion Footwear. And I think that's the one thing I really want our community to understand is that we are not a sit and fit retailer where you, come in, sit down, we put you in a bunch of shoes and we send you on your way. We think that it's great that there's places like Dick's and Rogan's and Shields, and they serve a purpose in our community as well. Our purpose is just different and it's just unique. So we feel that we use the term unreasonable hospitality. So when people walk in the door here, that it's an experience of one. So your experience versus the next person that walks in is going to be dynamically different. Because if you're coming in because maybe you've got plantar fasciitis and this person just wants to get a running shoe because they're doing a marathon, like your experience is going to be different. So we meet you where you're at. Everybody that works at Fusion Footwear is educated in the field of athletics, and that doesn't mean it's running. And that's the biggest thing that we want to differentiate ourselves from runaway shoes, where runaway shoes really focused on the athlete. We really are focusing on the whole person. So we have a whole array of shoes, not just running shoes. We've got walking shoes. We've got barefoot shoes for lifting. We've got hiking shoes. We've got recovery shoes. We have pickleball because everybody plays pickleball now.
Right.
We've got pickleball shoes. So we've got just a ton of different options for people. Our technology is something that is unmatched in this area. So we have a foot balance machine that we actually put our folks on when they walk in the door, and it does all of the assessments for us. So it's a 3D scan from the knee down that lets us see what's your accurate shoe size, what's your accurate width, how does your arches fall, are you pronating, are you supinating? So we're really giving you a look inside, what's happening with your body. You'd be amazed on how many people walk in here with the wrong size shoes, right? They're shoving their feet in shoes, or they have shoes that are just way too big. So we really talk about shoes. And so then, once we get going from that, it leads into the conversation. We don't ever, push them into things, but, we encourage them to think about the importance of a sock. Mm-hmm. Cotton socks, cotton is rotten. We don't want cotton socks. We want to talk about why it's important to have a moisture-wicking sock. If their arches are great and their arches are neutral and normal, we don't have a reason why we would need to put them in an insert. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, as we all age and we're feeling the effects of aging, arches fall, and we may have to have a conversation about putting an insert in, a custom one. Mm-hmm. We also, if you look around the store, it's not just about shoes. We have... we are the only authorized Lululemon dealer in the area, which for a lot of the UWO girls and high school girls, that's a huge draw. Middle school girls.
Everyone's going to listen to this.
See?
Let's go there.
Lululemon. So we are the only authorized Lululemon dealer in this area. Otherwise, you'd have to go up to the Appleton Mall. We have... chicken legs, and we have our own apparel line. So we've got apparel coming here. I'm looking around, sunglasses, anything that you can think of in the health and wellness aspect. It's going to be really cold this week, and so we carry a brand called Aurora. Aurora is all the heated gear that you see. So from heated gloves to scarves to dog vests to everything, we have that here. The other thing that we're really proud of at Fusion is our sports nutrition. Our sports dietitian, Kate, and myself have a very extensive background when it comes to nutrition. And this isn't just about what supplements and what to take, but really how to fuel your body in a healthy way. We have the most comprehensive sports nutrition in the area. And so we love that people come in and learn from us and shop with us, because we're not a one-size-fits-all. We actually have a Fusion Fuel Club. So people that are, looking to have more of that continued nutrition, we provide them a pretty nice discount to continue to support local and buy that from us as well. Outside of the shoe store, if you would weave yourself around, we have a gym on site. So we do offer personal training here. We allow people to take our shoes and run them on the treadmill to see how they feel. Yeah. Outside the door, which it's cold in winter now, but we'll be able to have group fitness classes outside in our gated area. We have a big soccer field behind us too, so I'm sure Mauricio will be doing many things with soccer. Yeah. Clinical rooms on the other side. So the clinical rooms are Aurora PT, Kate with sports nutrition, and then massage therapy. We hope to secure the whole rest of this building in the near future, and so we've got some other things in the hopper right now when it comes to my passion around the sport of triathlon. So bringing in more of some of that tri-gear / possibly even bikes and whatnot. Oh, wow. So yeah, we're kind of thinking our way through some of these things.
I was going to ask, at what point do you decide, okay, this is where we need to stop? Because it seems like you can constantly think of different things that you can, that you're, obviously involved in, but in other ways that you can help the community, in the ways that you can use your expertise and stuff.
Hey, honestly, it's interesting you're saying this, because yesterday I met with students from UWO and they were interviewing me as well. And I was talking about what is end game, right? Mm-hmm. I don't think there is an end game. When you talk about legacy and like, what do you want to leave for a legacy? I love that my youngest daughter has this, it's funny to us now, but it makes your heart happy. What do you want to do when you grow up? I want to own Fusion Footwear. I want to do everything that my mom does. That is the greatest compliment that you can get as a parent, right? Mm-hmm. And so I want to continue to build this. And we have, our 3 and 5 year plan of what this means from a strategy perspective. But for us, I feel like we want to continue to grow in collaboration with other businesses and, whatever that looks like, whether it's, another shoe store or it's a corporation or it's a restaurant, like how can we work together? We do work a lot in the community. We're very, very proud that we've gotten some military contracts. So we've been putting shoes on the feet of our military now. That's awesome. In the last year, which has been amazing. Mm. And so now we're very proud to say that we're supporting our military, when they're at basic and when they're, doing all the things in the rigor that they need to be a soldier. We're like, hey, we're fitting them. We're making sure that their boots and their shoes are what they need to be successful for us ultimately, right?
That's awesome. Yeah. Speaking of like community and events, you're a big part of organizing something cool, right? Was it coming up in April? March. Okay.
Mom Prom. Right. Yes. Yeah. So we are bringing the first Mom Prom to Oshkosh. We're hoping for it to be one of our largest fundraisers. Okay. Since COVID, corporate fundraising for not just Fusion, but for many nonprofits is down. So I think a lot of us that are in this sort of executive director role of 501c3s are trying to think outside the box, outside of, dine and donates and volunteering. And so one thing that we found to be really exciting is Mom Prom, because who doesn't like to get together with their girlfriends and, go out and have a good night. And so for $35, $40, we have your whole night planned for you. And we're working with such amazing businesses like yours, to really bring a really fun night to the women of Oshkosh.
Yeah. So how do people get involved with it?
So we have the registration and sign up is on our Eventbrite, but if you follow Fusion PDS or Fusion Footwear on Facebook or Instagram, we also have many of our links to register for these programs there. Or you can always reach out to us, fusionfootwear920@gmail.com, and we'd be happy to connect you with that. But we're really excited. Our goal is to get 250 women to come out that night. We attended a few other Mom Proms across the area, and we know that we're going to sort of blow it out of the water in terms of food, because we've got the Roxy is sponsoring our food, the Chalice is sponsoring desserts, we've got popcorn from Mike's. If you want to go out for dinner we've got Manila, we've got Beckett's, we've got Gabe's. So I love being able to support all of those guys that are owning all these restaurants and doing that. Brinkley's Boutique is going to be sponsoring Prom Queen and Best Dressed and Best Dancer and all of those prizes. Insight Eye Care is our overall sponsor for the night, and so there's lots of activities. We've got over 50 raffle baskets of tons of local businesses that have put their stuff out there. Windward Wealth is sponsoring, so everybody that walks in will get a nice cocktail on Windward Wealth when they walk in the door. And then it's going to be dancing and pictures and all sorts of things that just make for a really fun ladies' night.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Thanks.
Again, the date is
March 8th.
March 8th.
At the Gibson Social Club on Main Street.
All right. That's coming up pretty quickly, so yeah. Well, any plans for Valentine's Day weekend or?
Yes, we are actually volunteering for Battle on Bago. So another example of how we are constantly working with other organizations. Battle on Bago is a huge sponsor of our nonprofit PDS Fusion. So we supply through our organization. We supply volunteers to help with Battle on Bago on Friday and Saturday night. I know Battle on Bago on Friday night has the Glam Band, which is a fan favorite of a lot of people. So I think a lot of people from Fusion will be out there jamming at Battle on Bago. And
sweet.
We'll be selling tickets and hustling out there for them.
Yeah. And thank goodness that there's some good ice.
There's ice
this year.
Yeah, there's ice.
It's been a few years, it feels like, where it's been actually pretty solid. And there's tons of people out there.
It's a great, great event. And if you haven't gotten a ticket for Battle on Bago, I mean, the prizes that they have, like a pickup truck and whatever, I mean, it's worth your time to head out there and just check it out. And it's a great organization that gives back to so many nonprofits in the area.
Yeah. Wonderful. Well, any other last shout outs that you want to give to anybody?
This is great. Thank you so much for allowing me to talk and kind of share a little bit about our story and what we do in the community. I appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure. We'll have to do this again, you know, whenever we'll get some updates. And if you have any major changes and stuff that you want to announce and whatever you're getting your hands into, you know, be happy to help share the word and stuff. So
perfect.
I do have to ask, as I ask all of our guests, what's your go-to over at Manila when you stop by there to grab something to eat?
Oh, go-to at Manila. Well, the last time we were there, we had like the sushi, like the bowl. It was, I don't know, it was like vegetables and.
Oh, it must have been like when we had like the poke bowl special or something.
Oh my gosh, I love it. Well, I love Filipino food. I love all.
Yeah. Nice. Like we've been toying about getting that back up, so maybe we'll get that going, you know, just for you.
Huge. That was the one thing I ate on the cruise ship all the time. So,
I bet.
I mean, and the line was like forever long on the cruise ship for that. So maybe that's motivation to bring it back.
Yeah. Oh, cruises. We could talk about cruises all day. Whole nother thing,
I think you need to go on one.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining me here on the show.
Thank you.
Lovely to talk to you. Let's do it again.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Well, thanks for joining us here on the Bar Cotta Podcast, and we'll see you in the next episode. Later.